On the morning of July 28, 1996, two fishermen set out before sunrise, off the coast of Brixham, Devon, England. Their first fishing spot was dead, so they pushed 6 miles further into rougher, deeper waters, the kind where only the desperate drop anchor. They cast their net and waited. An hour later, they began reeling it in. It felt heavy, unusually heavy. They thought they'd hit the jackpot, but what they pulled up wasn't just fish. In the middle of the pile of sea creatures was a dead man, his body tangled in the net like seaweed. The fishermen panicked and immediately called the Coast Guard. What followed would become one of the UK's most bizarre and unbelievable homicide investigations, all thanks to that body and what it was wearing. There are murder cases so clean, so perfectly executed, they almost vanish without a trace. Almost. But this one unraveled because of a single object. Not fingerprints, not DNA, just a Rolex watch. Imagine someone living your life, wearing your clothes, sleeping in your bed, even using your name. And the only reason the truth came out was because a cheap fishing net dragged a body from the bottom of the sea. This story has fake names, stolen identities, a yacht, millions of dollars, and one of the most cold-blooded betrayals you'll ever hear. Police examined the man. Estimated age, early 40s. Outfit, jeans, a shirt, and brown shoes. No wallet, no phone, no ID. But on his wrist, a Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust, still strapped tightly, stopped at July 22nd. That was 6 days before the body was discovered. And here's the key. Rolex watches aren't just fashion, they're tracking devices in disguise. Each one carries a unique serial number, a service history, and internal movements that can even reveal time of death. Police sent it to Rolex headquarters in London. When the results came back, everything changed. The watch was genuine. Its owner, Ronald Joseph Platt. The Rolex had solved in days what might have taken months. Police traced Ronald's last known residence in Chelmsford, a rental property. The landlord said Ronald had been missing, but gave them a lead. A friend of Ronald's had left a contact number in case anyone came looking. That friend was a charming, well-dressed, soft-spoken man named David Davis. When police called David to tell him Ronald had been found dead, his reaction was calm, too calm. He claimed Ronald had borrowed money, then moved to France, then Canada. Said he hadn't seen him in a while. Nothing suspicious, right? The officers leaned toward accident. Maybe Ronald fell overboard and hit his head. Case closed. Or it would have been. A few days later, an officer tried calling David again. No answer. So he drove out to the rural address on file. The area was remote. No street names, just scattered homes. He knocked on a neighbor's door and asked where to find David Davis. The couple looked confused. David Davis? No. That man next door, his name is Ronald Platt. Wait, what? They even described him, and it was exactly the man the officer had spoken to, the man claiming to be David, now living under the name of the dead man just pulled from the sea. David Davis was living as Ronald Platt. And that's when everything exploded. Police reopened the case. What they uncovered was like a Netflix thriller, but real. The man known as David Davis? Not David. Not Ronald. His real name? Albert Walker. One of Canada's most wanted fugitives. A man who stole $3.5 million, vanished with his daughter, and had been hiding in the UK for years. He targeted Ronald Platt, gained his trust, and stole his identity to vanish from Interpol. But when the real Ronald Platt returned from Canada, two men with the same name couldn't exist, so Albert took him out, on a yacht, in the middle of the ocean, using a boat anchor as a weapon. He struck him, killed him, weighted the body, and dumped it overboard. His plan? Flawless. Except for one detail. That Rolex watch. Albert Walker thought he was untouchable, but he didn't count on a stopped watch, a couple of fishermen, and a twist of fate. Thanks to the Rolex and a little divine irony, Albert was arrested, tried, and sentenced to life in prison. And yes, the woman he was living with? His own daughter, pretending to be his wife. This became one of the strangest and most disturbing murder cases in UK history. A case cracked by luck, timing, and a luxury watch that refused to stay silent. If you made it this far, you're incredible. Thank you for watching. If you love strange, twisted, true crime stories like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And remember, sometimes the tiniest detail, a number on a watch, is enough to bring a killer down.